We're back in New Orleans here. We have a Finals MVP, Dirk Nowitzki. How are you?
Great memory. Thanks for bringing it up.
You're so much calmer since you won the title. You just seem so happy, even like all these years later. You're just.
Yeah, I mean that was one major thing I always wanted to do, and I kept fighting and fighting, and every year you fall short, and then it gets, closer towards the end of the career, and you're like, oh, I want to win this so bad, and in 2011 everything came together. The team fit together, the chemistry was great. We had a bunch of great veterans, and that was the year.
Now you're 35. You're gonna be 36. You're still cranking along. Still as efficient as ever. What keeps driving you at this point?
Well, the last 2 years were a little disappointing for me. I said it all along. The lockout year right after we won was tough. I started having knee swellings. And then last year, the surgery right in front of the season, and then I missed like 30 games. Really disappointing. We didn't make the playoffs. So I just wanted to get back to winning ways, playing some good basketball again. Hopefully being a playoff franchise again, that means a lot to us. We had like 10 or 11 or 12 in a row. And that's where we want to get back. And, I did a lot of work this summer. I wanted to get back to playing well again and pushing off, making some moves that I couldn't make the last 2 years. And so I've been in the gym ever since, and it started in May already. Started lifting and running, and I think it's paying off for me.
How's your body? Walk me through your body situation right now. What hurts?
It's not bad. Sometimes you get up, it's a little
creaky?
Yeah, a little creaky here and there. But usually I thought, I rolled my ankles a ton when I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
And I figured if something's going to cut my career short, it's going to be my ankles. I had tons of bone spurs and stuff. I even had surgery on one, like my 4th or 5th year. And I figured it'll be way worse. But I'm still trucking along. I think your work as you get older goes a little different. I think when you're in the 20s, you shoot tons of shots, you do athletic stuff, and now it's a lot of maintenance stuff. You do a lot of more weightlifting during the season, but light stuff, keep the pressure on the legs, keep them strong. So I don't jump and run as much anymore and practice as much anymore as I used to. Get tons of shots up in the summer. That has changed a little bit. So I think you work a little different. You still have the same workload or even more, but you work a little different. So body is holding up.
So you're worried about the legs are the most important thing, keeping them fresh, keeping them.
Yeah, I mean it's
stuff happening.
We had a lot of games there from like Christmas to middle of January, so that was and I still play over 30 minutes a night. So there was a stretch where I was a little tired, and then they rested me for one night, which we really haven't done much. So that was a weird situation for me, but. Yeah, I mean, other than that, I feel fine. We don't. Coach Carlin knows we have a couple veterans. Vince is almost 37 now, and Trix is my age. So I think we're trying to find a good way of still getting some practice minutes in with the younger guys, but also getting the older guys some rest.
How are teams defending you these days? That's different than, say, when you were with Nash.
Well, we got a great pick and roll player now with Monte again. He's so explosive. He's been a great playmaker for us, and all I really try to do is set a screen for him, and he uses his speed.
Yeah, sometimes you're a decoy.
I'm a decoy. I actually, a couple of weeks ago, when I didn't feel well, I didn't move well, and I had a bad shooting night, I told the guys afterwards I was the most expensive decoy in the league. So, yeah, but no, he's been great. And sometimes I still get my ISO, get my post-ups, mainly on the left or right block there from like 14, 15 feet. That's where I still do some of the damage if I do get the ISO. We got away from some of the high post ISO I used to run a couple years ago because I just don't have that drive off my legs to go to the basket anymore. So it's more post-ups.
Still have the foul line post-up game though, which is like
not as much as we used to go to it all the time. We used
to
go to
it all. Though.
Yeah, I mean once in a while pick my spots, but
yeah.
that's not something we do all the time anymore. But Monte off the pick and roll has been lethal for us. He gets in the paint, finds our shooters, and he's been great for me too, because somebody constantly drives and collapses the defense and gives me tons of open looks.
You're a free agent after this year. Your big contract ends, and in one of the worst contract leverage jobs ever, you basically said, "Yeah, I'm staying in Dallas. There's no way I'm going anywhere else." Did you follow what happened with Kobe Bryant where he got a huge extension for a lot of money that hurt their cap, and then he's like, "I'm Kobe Bryant. I'm not taking a pay cut." I bring in a ton of money for this team. I've been the face of the franchise. Why should I take a pay cut? We just had this lockout. All these owners made all this money. I'm not taking a pay cut. They should take a pay cut. What did you think of that?
I obviously followed the situation, and he's right. He is Kobe Bryant, and their TV deal they have there in LA is so crazy anyway. So
right.
they can afford it. I think we're in a different situation, obviously in Dallas, and I think it's fair to say that I will take a pay cut.
Right. Because Duncan did it too, right?
Yeah, Duncan. I think KG did it at my age when they resigned. So we'll just have to wait and see. Honestly. I try not to think about it this much. That's why I even haven't extended or anything. I wanted to play the season out. I wanted to get back in the playoffs and hopefully have a good run. And then we have plenty of time to talk to Mark, and obviously we'll figure something out. But that's not really something I daily think about. What
would you rank as more important, just retiring as a Maverick or winning another title?
Well, the ultimate will be both.
Right.
But I can't really see myself playing anywhere else. I said it all the time. It wouldn't even feel right to put on another jersey somewhere else or live somewhere else. I've been in Dallas my entire career. It's my 16th season, so it wouldn't even feel right. So I'm sure we'll find a nice little agreement for both sides where we can have a good team for the following years, and where I feel still I can play and feel respected, and we'll go from there.
I think there's something special and underrated about retiring with the team that drafted you. And I think, I don't know if you followed when Pierce and Garnett came back to Boston a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And the outpouring of love for Pierce. And, like I'm a Celtics fan, obviously every Celtic fan was just kind of sad that it just felt like he should have retired with us, and that I don't like seeing him on another team. We watched him grow up. He showed up, he was 21, went through all these ups and downs. We won a title with him.
I agree.
It doesn't feel right. It was a great trade, but it doesn't feel right.
But I think Boston made it clear they went a different direction here this year, and they wanted to rebuild, I think, and so he kind of had to make this move if he didn't want to go through the rebuilding process.
I think he probably wanted the trade too, but now I think that he's in a different situation, and it's like, I think he probably feels like he's a Celtic, and he's like, now I'm playing for. You feel like a hired gun. But if you hadn't won a title, going into this contract, you might be thinking about that.
Yeah, this might be a whole different issue. I always wanted that's something that I felt like I needed on my resume, and maybe the free agency would be a lot different then I would think about some other moves. But really now,
now you're there
to think about.
Do you think about how long your career could be potentially here? Because as you said, you were 98 draft, so this is 16 years, but you're only 35. You're this first wave of these dudes that came into the league 18, 19. Back in the day when somebody played 16 years, they were like 40, and you have a chance to play 21, 22, 23 years potentially.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'll go there.
You could do the Sam Perkins. You could just stand behind the three-point line and just shoot threes.
Yeah, I don't think
the
shooting will be the problem. It's the in-between, the running back.
You just tell them you're just running from three-point line to three-point line.
The showing, on the pick and roll, half of the league now, or most of the league now, it's a pick and roll game. So the bigs have to run around like crazy to show or get all these coverages. And it's going to be that stuff, the transition back and forth.
So you've thought about this?
Yeah, I'll just see how long it's still fun, quite honest. If I get up in the morning and say, hey, I got to go to work, then I'd rather retire, because I never looked at basketball as work. I always enjoyed it. It's my hobby. I love it. And once that love is gone, and I'm tired of working out every day and doing all this stuff to get me ready for the games, and I'm tired of lifting and doing and conditioning on all that other stuff around it, and rather stay in bed, then I think it's time to go.
Watch the TV?
Yeah, then it's time to go.
It would be nice to just be in the corners, like Durant's has three guys on him creating a shot, and you're on whatever team, and just, I'm going to be over here, I'm going to make threes, you do all the work.
Yeah, I think I can always shoot threes. I think I can shoot threes when I'm 60. But it's all the other stuff to get you going. That's going to be the problem.
We did on Grantland.com, we posted yesterday a big video with Nash.
I saw a minute of it. I didn't watch the whole thing. I had kind of crazy day yesterday.
It's Well, it's basically about him trying to figure out if he has anything left in the tank, and that point athletes go through when they think they can do it, but they don't know, and they don't know if they're in denial, and he's way deep inside his own head. Have you been following like his last 2 years? I know you guys are
Well,
close.
yeah, we text once in a while, and then when we do play each other, we try to meet and have some dinners and stuff. And I mean, it's been tough for him. It started obviously when he broke his leg last year at the beginning of the season, and then it's been downhill ever since with his health. And I feel bad for him. I think he still wants to play. I think he still can do it if his body responds the right way. But I think it's mostly tough mentally if you're that age and you keep pushing yourself in rehab and nothing seems to change, and then you practice once or twice and it gets worse. You start back to where you started, and that's it's really tough mentally. But he's been still working at it. He's seen his chiropractors and stuff, and so hopefully he'll play another season here and finish this season out and maybe play another one.
You belong to this different generation with him and Kobe and Pierce and KG and all the guys that were drafted in the 90s. And now you have this new generation with Durant, LeBron, Paul George, all these guys in their 20s. Is there a team that you just enjoy playing against? Like, is there one guy where you're like, we get to play this guy tonight? I'm excited.
I mean, in the West, really, there's every night there's a new challenge. I mean, the power forward spot is loaded. I feel like every night I have to bring my best, and I have to show some young guy I can still halfway do it. So every night there's fun challenges, but yeah, I mean, we like playing. The Houstons and San Antonios and the OKC, the teams that are around, and those are always fun games. Our fans seem to rally around it, and when we play in Houston, we have tons of fans down there, and when they come, they have tons of fans in our building. So I think those are so far been the most fun games.
Who's the best player you've played against in 16 years? Who's on the other team where you're just like, that guy's unbelievable?
I mean, it's got to be Kobe.
Really?
Yeah, got to be Kobe. I mean, I've seen him do some stuff. That's unbelievable. He gave us actually, I think it was 61 or 62 that one.
Oh yeah,
one game
he came out in like the
quarters.
third, after the third.
He didn't play the fourth. He might have had 62, and we as a team had 61.
Wow.
And their team had like 80 something, so they were up 20 on us, and he didn't come back in the fourth. And they actually were mad, or he was mad. He thought he could have gone for 80, and then 2 weeks later.
Then he did it, yeah.
Or 3 weeks later against Toronto, he actually did it, but he probably could have done it that night. I mean, he was insanely hot. I mean, in transition, we'd have 4 guys back. He'd dribble up, cross them over, throw some floater up. I mean, he was insanely hot. He could have probably gone for 80 that night.
Who's the player that you've played against that you were the most jealous of, like you wish you could have played one season with them?
I always told Tim Duncan that I wish I had his post moves. We're pretty close, even though we were rivals basically my whole career, but I really like him. He's just as laid back as I am, and every time I see him at the All-Star game, we always have some fun. And I always told him if I would have his footwork, his strong legs, his jump hooks, I'd be tough to guard.
So you would have enjoyed playing with him?
Yeah, I mean, with him, and enjoyed playing against him because he's a power forward. If you consider him a power forward, he's probably the greatest of all time. Just the defense, the passing, the block shots.
Are we sure he's not a center?
I mean, he started off as a power forward.
Right.
He's as mobile as a power forward, but you know how the league, evolved over the last decade or whatever. Now it's more small balls than ever. I mean, all the fours used to be big and back to the basket type players, and now that's more the 5. Even the 5 can run and jump and move now and even shoot a little bit, and the 4s are basically 3s. I mean, that's just where the game evolved. And when the rule changed, at the beginning, you could back down wherever long you want, then they put in the 5-second rule. Now we can play zone. And I think the game evolved more into like a European flow type 5-on-5, not as much iso ball anymore. So that's where the game went. And now every 4 and 5, you got to be able to run and shoot a little bit from 15 feet.
Well, ironically, if the 20-year-old version of you came into the league now, the first half of your career would have been more fun because, the first half of your career slow down, defense. They finally had to change the rules, but you were like in year 8 or 9 when that happened. But nowadays, you'd come in, you'd probably have been a center.
Yeah,
Like you would have been a undersized 5 or whatever, and they just would have built a team around just running with you. And
probably. The good thing is, when I came in, we had Nelly as a coach.
Yeah.
And he was obviously an offensive genius, and he already put us in situations where I can succeed. My second year, I remember I dribbled up after a rebound and I hoisted a 3. I think no other coach at that point or at that time would have let a 7'4" guy would have let them do it. So
Right.
I think I was fortunate. I was able to develop my skills and my game under Nelly, and he gave me all the freedom that I think if I would have come in another situation, they would have bulked me up more.
Right.
Probably put me in the weight room and put
it
me
would have been
more.
bad. Your body probably would have broken down.
Put me more back to the basket. So I think I owe old Nels a lot in that.
Last question. Obviously you're from Germany. The internet has changed how people follow basketball. Do you feel like everybody in Germany can probably follow like every single moment of your career now? That wasn't always the case in '98. Maybe they showed a couple games, that's it. You feel like more of a connection these days with those guys?
I was really surprised when we won it in 2011. I figured, some guys might get up at night and watch it, because we're 7 hours ahead in Germany from Dallas. So I figured some guys would show up, get up and watch it. But once I got home, it was like melee. Everybody knew me. I had parades in Germany in my hometown. I had 20,000 people on the town square celebrating with me. So I never thought that the game of basketball or a person that doesn't play soccer can have that much hype in my home country.
Yeah. So
that was beautiful to see how people saw every year the struggle I went through and frustrated. Came home to Germany every year, was frustrated, and they enjoyed it so much for me, and that meant a lot to me. It made me really proud.
So they can watch all your games, right?
Actually, it's over the League Pass internet, so
Yeah.
you can watch it, and and then you can actually connect it to the.
They can watch
TV.
this right now. They're probably watching this.
Probably not.
I would have said a question in German just to impress them.
Yeah, next time. We'll save it for next year.
Dirk, thank you. Always a pleasure. I'm glad you're still cranking along. It was fun seeing you in person a few weeks ago. You still got it. You're 16. Amazing.
I'm trying.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Please watch more from Grantland channel. We are very competitive, and we're currently getting our asses kicked by cat videos. Would you like to watch another video? There are cats in it, I promise.